Hello everybody, Wenzeltron here, and we're back on Heroes of the Storm Spotlight Edition. So this is a new one. I'm trying a new video where, because Garrosh got his Spotlight last night, I'm recording this the next night, and well, I wanted to talk about his abilities because this Spotlight has a lot of new mechanics that we haven't seen in the game before and reimagined versions of it too. So without further ado, we're going to watch the video and I'm going to pause the thing and talk about what I see. And also we might check on his talents because they're now up on website Heroes Hearth. I'll just put a link in the description so you guys can check it out as well. Here is Garrosh, and his model looks really well, or really good. Right? I'm gonna turn this down a little bit so it doesn't get too loud. And honestly, I'm really excited about one thing here. If any of you guys follow my videos, the fact that Garrosh is a solo tank here, this is amazing. I'm so excited about it. I cannot be more excited. I was really worried that he was going to be a bruiser tank and be more like a Sonya. But instead of being a Fury Warrior, he would be an Arms Warrior in World of Warcraft, if you're familiar, which I assume many of you are, but he's not. And it's amazing. It's amazingly cool. And I'm pressing my mouse badly. So we're going to let the video play now, and we'll pause it again as they do his abilities.
Garrosh is a resilient and relentless warrior who uses
I really like his design though. He's got a really cool mechanic. So his trait, as they're showing on screen now, is an armor buff. So if you look in here in the bottom left corner, you see the armor slowly stacking up, and then here on Diablo, he actually starts winning this trade just by auto-attacking because of that. And then his Q. So it does very little damage, shown here with Chromium Muradin, but this is where it gets interesting. So this is where one of the things I really like about the hero, at least just judging by this video, is that he's not a dive hero. This hero is like an anti-dive. So he's about pulling people into you. And in this sense too, is that these heroes, so like if you're using this like I think you would be in a team fight, like a 5v5, the main tank would be somewhere in the middle here, but then the back line is here. So you're able to pull in the back line that's trying to stay as far away from you as possible, and you're able to make really weird positioning mistakes, kind of like how Diablo does it. But instead of charging in, you pull people towards you as a high skill because of how this ability works. As you see right now. So this is really neat. I really like the way that looks. So his W is just a short heal. I'm assuming this will reset your basic attack animation, like Arthas's trait does, but we don't know for sure. And then also, I want to point out here, you see this little icon? This is the new showing the armor of a hero in the game, because Greatmane's Worgen form, if you guys didn't know, gives you 10 armor, which is really cool. And I think it's 10 physical armor. So that's pretty cool. So they're probably going to do something for like Hunter's Mark, because if you look, there's a little tiny plus. So it'll probably be like a negative for Tyrande as well. That's super cool. Continuing on.
Bloodthirst's heal is doubled if used on an enemy hero.
So it doubles on heroes. Pretty straightforward. And now this is where he gets really cool. So this is Wrecking Ball. A lot of people have been saying these are similar mechanics to heroes in Dota and stuff.
Picks up the nearest enemy and throws them to a target location.
It's so cool. Being able to throw a hero around. I'm just thinking of all the amazing plays that you can do with it. There is a talent, as they show later in the video, that you can pick up your allies and throw them into the battle, which is also really cool. One of the things I was thinking about earlier today, before I decided to record this, is you can pick up a Diva mech as it's charging up to explode and throw it into the enemy team. I think that sounds really cool. Or you can pick up or you can just cheese your teammates, and if someone makes you irritated, you can just throw them into the battle and get rid of them. And now for his ultimates here. So this is Warlord's Challenge. This is an AoE taunt. I really like this ability. So people are saying it's a 50-second cooldown.
He lets out a fearsome battle cry.
I like this ability, and it synergizes well with how his trait works, because the more damage you take, the more armor you get, and that just chains itself into it and synergizes well, which is his baseline kit. But it was going to take some skill as to use it, because you're not going to really want to dive in too hard with it, like, you know, go into the middle of a team, pop all of it so it hits every hero on their team, because that's just kind of like asking for your death, in my opinion. But we'll see. This is, you know, couch commentating, so to speak, without actually knowing how this character is going to play. And so this is Decimate, so this is like his damage version with, I think, crowd control. Yeah, applies a slow on the hero.
This ability
And has 3
stores up to
charges.
3 charges and has a short cooldown. Decimate
pretty
deals
neat.
double damage to enemy heroes,
And it deals
its
double damage to
cooldown
heroes.
is reduced for each hero it hits.
So what they're trying to do, I think, with them reducing how much sieging he can do, they're trying to make him really focused on, like, heroes, not being able to lane like most main tanks. And I think this is really cool for a lot of the tanks in the game, because right now we have all dive. You have Anubrek, you have Muradin, and you have ETC being like the big 4-ish that all, or big 3-ish, sorry, that are always diving into the backline. So with his Q being the opposite of that, like in the same vein of Stitch's hook, because it's really not comparable to Stitch's hook. Yeah, so right there they're saying that he is weak to percentage health, which makes sense because you're gonna have, if you have this huge armor buffer, they're gonna balance it by having a smaller health pool because of how that's stacking armor. Because if he has a big health pool plus the armor buff, he's never gonna die. And that's right here shows how you can set up for your team. I really like the ideas of just how much playmaking potential he has is just gonna be really cool.
Garrosh can take the bot.
So this ability I think is super neat. So at level 1 he gets a new activate ability, so it'll go on your 1 key, and it's called Body Check. And if you read the tooltip here, which I will pull up the talents after, it's really, really neat. And it does a slow, and it deals a little bit of damage, but then its damage is increased by 150% of armor up's current bonus. And then the slow amount is increased by 30% if armor up is above 25. So that's pretty cool. It gives you more utility for a hero that doesn't have a hard engage, like a charge. I mean, he does have a hard engage, but it's not as easily landable as other heroes. So in Brute Force, it affects a earlier talent taken. This is the first hero that has talents that affect other talents. That's really neat. I really like how Blizzard is going with this. And
Further empower Body Check, giving it a shorter cooldown and the ability to reduce the healing that an enemy receives.
so reducing healing, more of that, which is cool.
If you take the
It's a fun counterplay mechanic with how much.
Garrosh gains the ability to throw allies.
So here's the
allowing
throw.
you to
There's the throw
reposition
ally
your
there, and like
teammates.
throwing allies
This can be
behind.
used to
Created builds that they've already had, so it shows all the abilities and the cooldown. So this is neat. So the Groundbreaker is going to be an 8-second cooldown, 12-second cooldown on Bloodthirst, dealing 156 damage. This only deals 81 damage. These are also obviously baseline, so these are 4% per level, assuming. And then a 16-second on Wrecking Ball, which makes sense because this is the big positioning error ability, and it gives a slow on impact dealing damage. And this works on heroes, minions, or mercenaries, so that's neat. And then for Warlord's Challenge, we got 50-second cooldown, 40 mana. We have no idea what mana is going to be like on this hero, so it's whatever. And then silence nearby heroes, force them to attack Garrosh for 1.5 seconds. And then Decimate is an 8-second cooldown, and you deal 50 damage to nearby enemies, slowing them by 30% for 1.5 seconds. Deal 100% damage to heroes, and each hero hit reduces the cooldown by 1 second. So that's really cool. So basically you can get a 5-second cooldown reduction on this, which means you will have only a 3-second cooldown per charge, assuming you're spamming it. So that's kind of cool. I think the big reason for this ability is not the damage, it's the utility. It's the slow. And then so here's the actual trait tooltip. So Garrosh gains 1 armor for every 2% of maximum health missing. So this is a similar version to how Zul'jin gains attack speed. The number 1 build that everyone seems to be going for, we'll just do this for right now because I don't want to spend too much time theory crafting because we have no idea how he's going to play, and I thought it would just be a little fun to show you guys that this is here and you guys can play around with it. So everyone seems to be going with Body Check at level 1, so you get the activatable, as I explained earlier, on your 1 key, and this slows targets by 30% for 3 seconds. Damage is increased by 200% of armor up's current bonus, and slow is increased by 30% if the bonus is above 25. And then at level 4, he gets a Unstoppable. So this is similar to Johanna's trait, but you have this ability. We don't know what the cooldown is. I'm assuming it's somewhere around 60 seconds, if not longer. That's awesome. And then you have Brute Force. So enemies hit by Body Check receive 50% reduced healing for 4 seconds. Makes sense. What else do we have here? Into the fray. So you get, this is level 7 is where you get the ally throw. And your ally becomes unstoppable during it. And then you also get, so you get Groundbreaker reduces attack speed of heroes as well at level 7. So this tier is dependent on what the enemy team is, really. So you can either go Oppressor, reducing spell power. You can either go Brute Force, which is reduced healing, or you can go reduced attack speed. So it gives you flexibility into countering what the enemy team comp is. Really neat. Alts, we've already gone over that. 13 tier is defensive measures. Pulling a hero with Groundbreak grants a shield for 6 seconds, 350. That's going to be pretty cool. When hitting a hero, Blood Source heals for an additional 10% over 3 seconds. So that'll be 10% health immediately, and then another 10%. So you'll basically be healing for 20% of your HP, but at a slower rate. And then double up. So you get another activatable to increase your armor bonus by 100% for 3 seconds. That's going to be neat. I can see that synergizing really well with Warlord's Challenge. So that can alleviate you to go into the entire team and then hit the taunt, get hit by everybody, but double up your armor so then you can survive all of that. Rough Landing, it's another slow with your Q. If Wrecking Ball is used on a hero within 2 seconds of pulling them with a Ground Break, the cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds. That's kind of cool. So it would put your Wrecking Ball onto a 6-second cooldown really quick there. Neat. And then Earth Shatter, Wrecking Ball stuns enemies near the impact area for 0.75 seconds. So that's kind of cool. It'll allow you to initiate in a different way because you would hit someone with your Q, and then you would hit your E really fast and throw that hero onto the enemy team, assuming you grouped up enough of them, or the ones you want to be hitting. And now for the level 20s, you get Death Wish, increase the duration of Warlord's Challenge by 0.5 seconds, so that's 2 seconds of silencing or attacking. And if an enemy hero is killed while affected by the challenge, its cooldown is reduced by 45 seconds. That means a 5-second Warlord's Challenge, if that does secure a kill, which usually a taunt does, at least in the case of variant, or at least you hope it does. And Deadly Calm, heroes hit by Decimate deal 20% less damage for 3 seconds. Whoa, that's new. So I don't know if there's any hero in the game that just deals a debuff like this. Maybe Tyranda's Owl, I do believe, but not just direct damage debuff. That's really neat. And Titanic Might, Wrecking Ball now throws the 2 closest enemies. That is very similar to Artanis' Phase Prism upgrade. I don't believe that being super strong or super picked. And last but not least, Inner Rage. Body Check gains an additional charge, and its cooldown recharges 100% faster, while armor bonuses is or at or above 25. So either Death Wish or the Body Check probably, or the upgrade to Deadly Calm if you so choose to go that. All 3 of those seem to be very, very strong. Man, his talents look cool. So that's going to do it for this Garrosh overview, theory crafty thingy, whatever you want to call it. I like it. I really like Garrosh. He's a solo tank. It's been a very, very long time since they've come out with a solo tank. I mean, the last tank was Diva, and you could hardly classify her as a tank, honestly, in my opinion. And I don't play her very much at all. So, yet again, thank you guys for watching me today, and I'm really excited for this hero. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I'll put a link, yet again, for the Garrosh hero builds here in the description, so you guys can play around with it and have some fun. And, yeah, I will see you all next time.